Is he worthy of OnlyFans? Oh, come on now. Woo! Wow, that looks... I changed up the lighting in here a little bit, and I just realized that makes me look pasty white. Ooh. Oh, man, I am shiny. Hey, everyone. How's it going? So, I'm bundled up. It is freezing here in Oklahoma. Hey, and what do you know? We've got like Twitch follows now. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, Twitch. Hey, so today I've had a lot of questions about how is the process going, how long until this thing is ready to go. Well, I'm happy to say the Runekeeper is currently getting my, what I call the shotgun style critique by a few optimizers out there. I'm trying to see what they can do to break the class in a way that I don't intend it to be breaking the game. So the rune system is not totally done because it's not totally filled out, but there are certain mechanics that I know are going to be mainstays for most of the runes that are going to be developed in this thing that I want to make sure are like churning in the right way. I want to make sure that like the system makes sense, that whenever somebody is looking at this thing and they're trying to jump in and like play one of these Runekeepers, that they know exactly like what they're in for, right? How can I build this thing out to where I'm going to get the kind of character that I want to get out of it? And then once I hear back from them about like maybe they'll catch a calculation that I didn't quite catch, you know, then I can see like what I might be able to do to tone something down if it needs toning down or whatever, right? So what do we got? What we got is a big overhaul and line edit pass that tried to, what I was trying to do was condense down some of the calculations and everything that are involved with this class down into simpler text that could be, and oh, by the way, as always, please let me know about volume. If you guys hear something going on with the mic or whatever, give me a shout because I can easily fix pretty much anything. And I've had to rearrange my desk a little bit to do some filling and everything. So, currently did a light editing pass. I did, rather than make you do the calculation of how many inscribed runes you have, and then once you have 5, it does this, once you have 6, whatever. Now it just says it's the number of runes you have inscribed divided by 3, rounded down pretty consistently. This way, what this is going to do is keep some of the +2, +3 bonuses out of the one-third invoker, I guess you could say, subclasses for like fighter and druid. They could get like +1 weapons, you know, +1 weapons, +1 armor, +1 to certain specific saving throws or whatever, but they shouldn't be able to get up into the +2 that should be exclusive to the Runekeeper. And then whenever the Runekeeper is like at level 17, I am debating on whether or not it's too good to make it to where we can just kind of guarantee that they're going to get +3 like weapons and armor. It's tricky. This is like, you know, like we said, this is experimental design, and I want to make sure that everything is churning, that all the calculations make sense, that not only is it easier for play by doing this condensing, but it's not going to do anything that will cause issues like, you know, increasing a character's AC. Well, I've kind of wondered if whether or not it was okay to allow like a character to get a shield rune, and that shield rune is an armor rune, which means that their armor and their shield would be able to provide a cumulative bonus to armor class, right? That the shield could do like a +1, +2, +3, and the armor could do a +1, +2, +3. The big thing is that that's mostly in the DM's hands in terms of like the power of the magic items that they're going to give the characters. But those magic items that do that usually have some kind of a kicker attached to it. So like, if the expectation is that a character is going to have a +3 like magic item by this level, is it okay for us to just make a class that is like, I'm going to guarantee that we have a +3 magic item, you know? I think that, I mean, just off of the design experience that like I've had over the last couple years, that might be okay. Like, it seems like that's just kind of an expectation that like other designers will design around, you know? So if you do anything that's able to increase that bonus, it might be a little good. As in like, it might be a little too good. We know that we have the system of bounded accuracy, and that if we give anything more than a +3 to either armor class or to hit, this could start to break down some of the fundamental building blocks of the game. Is snow among us? Yeah, the snow is among us. Yes. I can't really angle the camera to where you guys can see it, but yeah, we've got a pretty nice like dusting of snow on the ground right now. And from what I've heard, it's just supposed to go and go and go until like tomorrow night. Let me see here. Just so you guys can see. That's not going to automatically play something, is it? Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of, we just got started. Like, the snow really just got kicking over here for Tulsa. Because, if you look in this direction, this is, as soon as any of this rain hits this area right here, this cold front, it's all turning into snow. So we are pretty in for the night. Which is why I thought, hey, I know that tomorrow is a weekday, but I think it's okay for me to stream, because, something tells me we don't have school tomorrow. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. The only thing that would really suck is if the power goes out. I can deal with getting snowed in, but if the power goes out, man. So, there's some other things I'm kind of doing in here. You love to have snow. Sadly, Mexico has never had snow where you live. Man, it's such a magical event. Like, whenever snow hits, oh god, it's just, to me, I could live somewhere where it snowed year-round, and I'd be so happy. But Oklahoma is so swingy for what its weather wants to do. Like, in the summer, it's just muggy. But in the like winter, it will fluctuate between being freezing cold snow, or like like literally yesterday it was 70 degrees, like 70 degrees, and now here we are 4 o'clock, like 24 hours later, and we now have snowfall. Like, Oklahoma weather is so unpredictable. First time catching the stream. Hey, welcome Philip Brown, I appreciate having you. So what does this thing need to get published? This is the big deal. What this thing needs to get published, I think, is likely going to be about 20 runes per runic language. Hey, what's up, Mr. Hat and Clogs? So it's going to need 20 runes per runic language, I think, which it's not hard to come up with that right now. We have a lot of the weapon runes and shield or armor or whatever runes pretty much made for all the different runic languages. Ooh, and something spicy that I'm experimenting with. The thing that I want you to be able to do is I want some kind of representation for what it means to be a, like, what a rune would mean as like a legendary rune. And some of these were like, you know, Bahamut. I think that Bahamut as a dragon god definitely would have like his own rune, right? In the same way that I wrote a rune for Orcus. Orcus canonically has his own rune that is like carved into his stomach, you know. So Bahamut, I was like, all right, what would a Bahamut rune mean? And I just started kind of like skimming around, and I saw a really cool stat block that I was like, this could be something to play with here. Let me go over to D&D Beyond. They have an aspect of Bahamut stat block, but pretty much everything in there would be a little too good to give to a player. Because that thing is meant to be like, not quite a god, but a representation of the god's power. There's a pretty cool stat block for a Dragonborn of Bahamut. And I think as a character that has been blessed by Bahamut, you should be able to get a fraction of this power in some way. And what I designed was... It's a thing I know I'm going to have to kick back on. I can't allow this to recharge every 1 minute, like I did for my recharge mechanic for the recharge mechanic for the Frar breath, right? But what I could do, like, I might have to take this part out where it recharges every minute, because I think that that's just going to be generally too good. But what I took was the breath attack that the Dragonborn of Bahamut can do, and made it to where this is an action that you can do with the rune. And this is a pretty freaking legendary kind of a thing for you to be able to do. I think on Recharge 6, this might be too good. Being able to just heal 40-10 hit points every minute can't be a thing, right? This is going to break down my idea of what the recharge mechanics should be, but I don't think that it should have been able to get this like right in here. It can choose 3 creatures in the cone. These creatures take no damage from the radiance and instead regain, you know, whatever. This is probably too good to give to a player, because if we're doing this tied into a minute, 40-10 hit points that you can just regenerate every minute, that's going to be a problem. So this needs some kind of a change where, like, maybe this only applies like once for short rest, right? Once a creature uses this action, it can't do so again until it finishes a short rest, which I think it should be okay. It just kind of sucks that we lose the through line of, like, you know, you being able to get that recharge out of this. Once the creature... It might... I don't know that it has to be a long rest. I think it might need to be... like... if we do long rest... because it's a pretty special kind of a thing. This is a very nice action to get. 8d10 radiant damage on a failed save is already real sick nasty. It can't scale with you. And then 3 creatures that are within the cone instead regain 40-10 hit points each. That's very good. Like, very strong. You're sculpting the breath attack. Like, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Each person wants prolonged rest. Yeah, I think that's... and I'd agree, like... one of the things I toyed with this class was trying to see, especially with Supernal, if you've been catching up with the updates, Supernal is the rune that allows you to heal through hit dice. So, like, that's the unique way that, like, if you want to heal as a Runekeeper, that's the way that that's going to be. You make it to where hit dice use is a little bit easier for everybody in general. This needs to be... that's fine right there. But going down... and I've gotten a lot of really cool ideas for what these runes should be. Where is Supernal? Infernal... Primordial... that is the Thieves' Camp. Where is Supernal? Primordial? Infernal? Oh, because it's Celestial, derp. Hey, Phil, how's it going, man? Yeah, I changed it to Celestial. That was my... okay. There we go. Oh, Bronx, hey, thank you so much for the super chat, man. $5. Ah, thank you. Amazing work, you love it. I appreciate you. Yeah, I am very, very happy with where the base class and the subclasses are sitting right now. I think the feedback cycle is going to really tell me how easy it is to play. That's my, like, it's grinding market data for the man. I want to be able to, like, I want to get this out there, allow people to, like, play with it and see what, you know, what all happens. And then really, like, these are the runes that I'm kind of worried about, because I know I have to give you something core to make it like, oh yeah, I need to pick up some of these, right? I need to pick up an armor rune, I need to pick up a weapon rune, and I need to be inscribing these things. And like, I'm not worried about the system as much as I'm worried about how the bonus is going to increase. Because like, I mean, if you can guarantee that you're going to get +3 items, that's very good. I want to see, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I meant to look this up earlier, because I know some people are going to compare it to Artificer. Now, Artificer is never able to get you a +3 weapon. If you notice, it only ever scales up to a +2, and that's at 10th level. Now, the scaffolding that I built into this makes it to where you won't be able to get a +2 until you're able to get 6 runes that you can inscribe at a time. Once you have 6 runes inscribed, then you can start getting +2 weapons, right? I think practically, you're only ever going to really want like 4, right? And like, does any party really go like with a full on everybody's going to be a martialist kind of a composition? Not really. This is going to make it to where, you know, here, if you specialize in weapon runes or the runes of that runic language, you can get a +1 weapon at 3rd level, which is very nice, like really very nice. I almost thought that it needed to be other runes that are not this rune, so that way it would wait until like 5th level, and that kind of keys off of magic weapon, right? Magic weapon is a 3rd level spell, meaning that you can only get this here at 4th level. I think is pretty okay on a class that doesn't get spell casting. You need to specialize in hitting stuff hard with your hammer, sword, whatever, right? The Runekeeper, and I've had people ask this, what the Runekeeper's playstyle is going to be. The Runekeeper is going to be a Gish. The Runekeeper is mostly going to focus on, like, what are their spells going to be? What are their cantrips going to be? Your cantrips are going to be enhancements to weapons through your runes. And then what are your spells going to be? Your spells are going to be whenever you invoke the rune, you get this thing that happens for a short period. And my neighbor, of course, it's snowing. It's snowing outside, and this guy's out there really about to drive a motorcycle, huh? Anyways, so divided by 3, rounded down, would mean that at 9th level you could get a +2 weapon. And then you'd have to wait until, I guess it would be 15th level to get a +3 weapon. Which is so good. It is so, so good. I think that you would need... I almost want to make you wait until about 17th level to guarantee +3 weapons. I think at that point, we've got a dead level here happening, right? You have a dead level happening here as well. So like, here's an expected power spike, and then here's an expected power spike. 5th level, there has to be a power spike. Causal Invocation is a nice power spike, but I think it also needs something else in here. I guess if it is, like, for every 3 runes that you have that are not this rune, that would work. Which... okay, for every 3 runes, so boom, and then boom. And that would prevent you from stacking the same rune multiple times. So you're going to have to learn other runes. I think I like that more, right? I think the flavor in that's a little bit better, to where it's like, you can't just inscribe the same rune over and over and over again. And all the... let me do overprint preview so this looks a little bit prettier. You can't just inscribe the same rune over and over and over again and get the benefits, right? You need to diversify your portfolio, like, for real. So I think that text might be required, and I think that I feel a lot better about it in that situation. At 17th level, you being able to get +3 weapons and +3 armor, but it's only on 1 rune. So like one object that you have inscribed, and if you inscribe another one, then that means like all the armors are going to drop down to a +2. If you do duplicate a rune, then languages that give you other weapons and stuff are going to look pretty nice. I kind of think that that's what it has to be. And I know, talking math, right? Super, super fun. But like, this is like, if I'm thinking about how this is going to queue off and make it to where it's pretty easy for someone to jump in and play this thing, like, a critique I see a lot is that people don't think that homebrew is streamlined for a system that is very streamlined, right? That homebrew tends to be a little cluttered and all that. So I want to figure out, I think that that might be necessary. So let me go back down to, okay. And with a weapon equal to the number of runes that are not this rune, would now this language right here, I'm not a big fan of. But this can also get a pass in line editing to make sure that it's like clear, right? This rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon, or made with the weapon, equal to the number of runes that you have. Oh wait, equal to the number of runes that you have inscribed that are not this rune, but are from its language. Hang on. This rune. Okay. Ooh. Does that work? Does that read right? Like, does that program right, chat? Like, whenever you read this, do you know what that means? Like, the rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to the number of runes that you have inscribed that are not this rune, but are either from its language or that share its translations, divided by 3, to a maximum of +3. This is not as graceful as I think I would like, but this does the thing I want it to do. Right? Like, this makes sense. So it would mean that whenever you have 4 runes, it gets a +1. Whenever you have 7 runes, it gets a +2. And then whenever you have 10 of these runes, it gives a +3. You understand what it means, but you think it's a little too bloated in your opinion? Bloated as in it provides too much, or bloated as in the text doesn't make sense? Or like you think it could be cleaner? This rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to the number of runes that you have inscribed. Other runes? Oh. Phil, do you know what it, like, I don't know if you're still here, Phil, but like, do you think that this wording makes sense? I'm just gonna see if, let me pass this over to Ross and Benjamin and see if that makes sense to them. Because what that would mean is the ultimate power, it's rough, right? Yeah, I agree. Like, maybe equals to a third of the number. See, and that's the weird thing, is that the language of a third, I don't think really exists, because like divided by 3 was the wording that's used for Moon Druid. Translation means like it's a weapon rune, right? So another rune that translates to weapon. So like, this is the way that they're gonna get their scaling. Like, you know how cantrips do additional damage, like, you know, as you level up with them. This is gonna be the way that the Runekeeper is gonna get that. The first fragment implies that 5 Deathic runes equals +5. Divided by... oh. It can be any language. It just needs to share its translation. Half the wizard level? Maybe. A third the number of inscribed runes you have. I don't think it needs to be to a maximum of +3. Because we're going to remove the way for you to be able to get up to 12 runes. Gain a bonus to attack and damage equal to a total number of additional runes that show the same language or translation divided by 3. But like, this makes does that language make sure that you can't does that language make sure that you can't just keep stacking this one rune over and over and over again? A third only really comes up with the Arcane Trickster, does it? Because like, I mean, good, if it does, awesome, then I can totally swipe that. Is it mentioned in mechanical text? Oh wait, no, it's multi-class text, right? Okay. Spellcasting. Where does it say that? Completely off the top of my head, I seem to think that AT/EK comes up when a third comes up. It does. But I'm trying to remember where in the books it comes up. Like, where in the rules we have wording like that. Am I just not seeing it? Because, like, I am looking at the basic rules. Here, let me... sources, Player's Handbook. Every time you poop okay. I don't really know how to respond to that. Multi-classing. Because I thought it said 1/3 your levels if you are an arcane trickster or fighter. Okay. A third of your... Okay. Ooh. Ooh, wait. I think we just did some great line editing there. Hang on. Okay. That are from its language or that share its translation and are not this rune. Is that graceful? This rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to a third of your inscribed runes that are either from its language or that share its translation and are not this rune. That looks real clear. Right? Like, am I gonna have to do a little bit of math? Whenever I'm inscribing the runes, sure. But like, otherwise, that is pretty damn condensed, and I think it gets across the idea. And are different from this rune? Usually round down is the default. We haven't really seen WotC like still saying round down in a while. At least not that I can remember from Tasha's, right? Other runes that share its translation. Yeah, I think other... Other than this rune? Or that are not this rune? Like, that's the hang up right there, right? Because that offsets the scaling. Minimum of 1? No, it can't be. It's not going to grant a minimum of 1 at any point. Because, like, this needs to just be whenever you have, you know, whatever, a third of these inscribed runes. And if it's... I guess it does need to be round down. I guess it does need to say round down because it shouldn't just flat give you a +1 or else it would say it. I think that's what it has to be. And it's fine that we got to do a little bit of like find and replace, but I'm just trying to make sure that this makes sense. The rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to a third of your inscribed runes. That are either from its language or that share its translation, other than this rune. Others sounds clearest to me. The rune itself shouldn't count towards the total. That's correct. Yeah, this rune, if the rune counted towards its own total, then you'd be able to get this, basically, I think 2 or 3 levels earlier than where it needs to land. Make the part other than, what did that say? Make the part about, other than this rune, its own sentence at the end. Something like this rune does not count towards the total. Maybe? Maybe? Correct the rune? Oh, yeah. This rune grants a... Oh, okay, there we go. Ooh, that... Okay, I like that. This rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to a third of your inscribed runes, rounded down, that are from its language or that share its translation, other than this rune. Can I do that? Because that implies, right? Like, it's meant to build off of the other runes, not this one. That feels right, right? I think that's what it needs to be, and that makes the most sense. Is anybody gonna really, like, rules lawyer it and say, like, actually that would mean that this one is still from its translation or whatever? If you say other inscribed runes, you think shared translation is tripping you up? Boom. Like that? Other does not include the self by definition. That's what I would hope. That's what I would really hope. But this is important because this is going to be the... this is text that's very important to get down. Because this determines so much of the scaling for its power spikes. It's more universal across the dock, maybe, but, like, I mean, that can always get changed. It's not a huge ordeal to go through and change it if I find a more graceful wording. And I actually think that this is a pretty graceful wording here. And it does reel back the power. It puts it right where I want it. Where, like, if you want to get a +3 weapon, you have to take this all the way to 17th level, man. Like, at 17th level, that is the, like, yes, you need to be able to get there. And then, like, I don't know, you just dipped into Bizarro World where I saw people having a busted, I grabbed 3 weapon runes and broke the game build. Like, does it? It doesn't need to stack, right? Or are weapon runes. When you have 4 runes that share the same language or translation, gain a +1 to your attack and damage rolls. This bonus increases by +1 for every 3 additional shared runes. I don't know. That feels. I think that this is okay. Like, let me test something. Let me test something real quick. Okay. Instead of dividing, yeah, I mean, saying that, you know, you have 4 other runes, the problem, I think, and implement shared as a descriptive mechanic. Yeah, like, that's, yeah, robotic Raven Mage, that's my issue. I'm trying to make sure that, like, you know, at later levels, I mean, if characters are going to all have +3 weapons, like, okay, that's there. But I want to make sure that at early levels, we can't guarantee the entire party's rolling out there with +1 weapons, right? Let me shoot this text over to Ross and Benjamin and see what they think. Where's this? Okay, I'm just gonna see what they say. Does this active weapon already has a +1? Ah, I actually put into the class text to cover that. Was it in the, wait, was it in the class or was it? It might be in Runic Invocation rules. Combining effects, here we go. The effects of different spells, runes, and magic items add together while the durations overlap, with the exception of spells and runes that grant a +1, +2, +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls, or to AC. These bonuses are not cumulative, so use whichever bonus is higher. Additionally, runes that share the same effect do not count towards the rune's additional effect benefits. For example, if you inscribe 2 Aegis runes from the Elven language, they do not add towards each other's additional runes effects. So it clarifies it here, and then it tries to make sure that the language is clear later on to make sure that it doesn't stack like that. This, like, if it grants a +1, +2, +3, I would like you to be able to inscribe the rune onto a magic weapon, right? And this is what Benjamin uses in his Magus to make sure that the end spell and Aegis don't work with, like, you can't overlap them on the magic items and make them cumulative, right? This is like the durations overlap thing. I'm like, or sorry, the effects add together is the one text that I worry about. But like, with the exception of spells and runes that grant a +2, +3, +3 bonus, seems like, oh, I guess, and magic items. It says add together in the player's handbook. You think what makes the shared translation thing weird for me is because if it was just a dialect, then it would have something like when you have 4 death runes, your weapon grants a +1. It's supposed to. Like, and that's a, like, I have tried to figure out how to possibly make it to where that makes sense, to where it, if it's the same rune and the same, like the same rune, if I inscribe a weapon rune and then I inscribe another deathic weapon rune, does it count as 2 because it's a, does it count as 2 because it's a deathic and weapon rune? No. No, it never should. What if it maxed out at +2? The Artificer does that at 10th level, and like, I just feel like you completely forget about that. Like, I feel like, are you really going to take the Artificer infusion of a +2 item, other than in the case that your DM doesn't give you a lot of magic items? I just don't really think that that's going to be the case. Like, I think you can get that at 10th level, and it's going to feel alright until you can guarantee that you get another magic item, right? You can get a +2 magic item, or +3 magic item, and then you just forget that infusion, right? I'd like to make it to where the runes are going to, like, keep leveling up with you, and I feel like it's completely fine to be able to just do it at 17th, right? Purple Dragon Man, hello, when did the stream start? Like, 52 minutes ago exactly. Wait, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes after, so like maybe 42 minutes ago? You thought you'd suggest a word change for hermetic acuity that would fit what I was describing that I wanted, so I'm just going to send it over to Discord with the definition. Okay, cool. The DMG says 5th level for rare and 11th for very rare. Yeah, like, and to be clear, I highly disagree with a lot of Artificer design philosophies. Part of why I'm making the Rune Keeper is also, like, I think that players want to be able to, like, customize their magic items. I think what people wanted to do with the Artificer was to get their own like kind of crafting system in a way where like I could get these magic properties and apply it to an item and then figure out how by using that item I can win D&D, right? Like that's what it seems to want to do. And like Artificer, it to me it feels like WotC looked at the Artificer and like, okay, I think WotC looked at the Artificer and thought, we want to streamline this for 5e, and in a way, like, sure, you can say that they did, but I think most people play the Artificer because of what they want it to be, not what it actually is. That's why, like, I think Kibble's Artificer, or I guess it's his inventor now, gets a whole lot of love. Because Kibble's Artificer is, like, extremely modular. Like, you can build out so much, like, so many different characters with that thing, right? And I think that's why a lot of people really latched on to his Artificer, because it felt like this is the customizable class, right? This is the one that I can go in and just make whatever I want to make with these different magic items, or magic infusions or whatever. Yes! Yeah. Careful of the candle. Okay. So.
Sorry, I'm not very camera ready.
You're okay. We're tiny up here. Okay. So. I want to see if this makes sense to you.
Okay.
Because this text is going to be really important. Oh, by the way, say hey to chat.
Hi, chat. Hello. Oh, there's the camera.
Okay, so I've told you about the Runekeeper and how everything's going with this thing.
Yes.
Okay, right. It's been a process, guys. So, chat says hi.
I see.
So, additional runes. Basically, what I wanted to do is like whenever I inscribe this onto a weapon, I want this to get stronger with you.
Okay.
So, whenever you make other runes that you can inscribe onto other items, they can like empower that rune too. I felt like that was cool. Like you're building out your vocabulary and it like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, oh, she's in frame. She's just in the dark. Okay. So, this rune, so whenever I inscribe this rune, it grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to a third of your other inscribed runes, rounded down, that are from its language or are weapon runes.
Okay, wait. Start it.
Okay. This rune grants a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the weapon, equal to a third of your other inscribed runes, rounded down, that are from its language or are weapon runes.
Okay. So you have the weapon, and it has a couple runes on it. The ones, whichever ones are from that language or are weapon runes, combined, the bonus is a third of that combination.
Yes. Yeah.
To the attack or as a bonus to the attack or damage roll.
Do you think?
And damage roll.
Do you think that the rune that you inscribe adds to this?
Well, I guess to me it doesn't really feel like it says.
Because, and I agree with you.
This rune grants a bonus. It just says that this rune grants the bonus. It doesn't say this rune, and no, I don't know.
Right?
How...
No. You're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Okay. It doesn't say this rune in addition to the bonus. And
right. Right. Because it says other here.
Right.
So it makes sense to you then that like if you had, let's say you have 7 runes that you can inscribe, you inscribe this one and 6 other ones that qualify here. What do you think your bonus is going to be?
Well, I don't know what all their.
Well, let's just say they all qualify for this right here.
Well, but I mean, like, I don't. Do they all individually get like 1, or are some of them worth more? Does that make sense? Like the total.
We're just gonna say that they are flat, like they just qualify here.
Okay, so
no other
if
bonuses.
there are 6 others and this one, then I would say the bonus would be 2.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Yes. Now, do you think that? Are you basing that off of divided by 6 or divided by 7?
6 because
Okay, cool.
2, 2, and 2.
There we
And
go.
not including the one that allows this to happen.
Okay, good. All
Okay.
right. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, love you. Go back to drawing.
I love you.
All right.
Well, I'm not
Ugh.
drawing. I'm crocheting.
Oh, are you? Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm
That's
doing
right.
that,
Okay.
Yeah. And learning about the government. Yay!
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
My chapter.
Um, Okay. So yeah, she plays D&D, so she knows how to play the game. But like, I'm the designer, so I'm the one that knows like the system, and it can be pretty. You need somebody sometimes to read something through if you want to find out how easy it is to pilot it. You need somebody who, like, you might be blinded by your own language making sense to you, and you don't know how easy it is for someone to understand it until you see someone that hasn't seen it yet looking at it and trying to figure it, right? So yes, like, oh man, mine ever great man is yeah. Yeah, she helps out actually in more ways than she knows with design work. So yes, okay. That tells me that this is actually pretty good to go. Pretty good to go. It is painful hetero. Hey, well, you will be. I don't. You will enjoy our love. That sounds so. Oh man. Okay. So I like this wording. I think that this is clean. So, how do we program that for all the other ones? Alright. This rune grants a roll equal to ooh. It sounded like she got stuck on this rune part, which I could agree. Yeah, and I agree. I agree. This is like, I agree that it's like, I could say, like the rune name, you know, like, Kugel, or well, I don't know. Kugel grants a bonus to, whatever. But what this does is lets me just basically, and this is me trying to work smarter, not harder, is this lets me copy paste this and do a pretty consistent thing across all the different runes that do this feature, right? And I don't have to constantly retype rune name here, rune name here, rune name here, rune name here, right? Kugel rune for the way. Yeah, so like Kegel rune. I think that this works. Let me see if Benjamin and Ross gave me any input on that. Okay, Benjamin saw it. There we go. Okay. So I can just copy paste this. I actually think that this is pretty clean. Pretty clean. Now, I would like to clean up the one for, magic, because I think I can condense that down. But I'll do that. I'll try to think that through. Boom. Okay, that's fine. And then let's go up here, equal to third of your inscribed runes rounded down that are from its language were our armor runes. God, I love how clean that is. Oh, I love how clean that is. Okay, that is very simple. That seems to make a lot of sense. Oh man, I was wondering how I could possibly get this text cleaned down. Your recommendation, you bought the Loop Hero soundtrack? Man, yeah, like Blinch, I checked them out like after I had played Loop Hero, and I was like, oh, their SoundCloud or Bandcamp or whatever it is pretty damn consistent. Like, yeah, but yeah, go support. And I'm glad to hear that you went and bought their. Yeah, please go support these artists. I think especially now with recent news about Spotify and everything, right? Like, please go support artists if you really like what they do. Go check out their Bandcamp, SoundClouds, whatever. Especially smaller, like me working in the music industry, smaller artists that put their stuff on Spotify are making a pittance, absolute pittance. It is up, sure, it's on the internet, and it's money that they wouldn't have otherwise, like, made, I guess, if it wasn't on Spotify, but, like, yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not happy with this. I don't think that this is a great mechanic for every single life rune. Just inscribing the rune, and then, like, basically getting a similar effect to aid. You can just, like, increase it. Like, I think that this is either completely forgettable. I'm not super sure what I think about this one. Life runes enhancing your, like, hit points that you get, right? This is effectively increasing your hit die by, like, 1 size every time, Oh yeah, Crosby, Stills, and Nash also removed their music in in solidarity. Like, Spotify's gonna have to make a move here. Like, they're gonna have to stand up. Like, they're gonna have to actually take a stance on this situation. And I would really, really hope that Spotify favors musicians over podcasters. Or, I'm sorry, podcaster. But I might be a little bit biased there. Anyways. Okay. So, that's clean. That spell. Okay, so I want to talk about something that's really big and flashy, okay? I have been designing some of these runes that are supposed to be the upper level of power for what you can do with these runes. And they're the legend runes. Now, I am not so sure. Like, I think that this is okay to do. I think that this is okay to do with, like, I think it's okay to give a player legendary resistance once per day. Once per day. But is it okay to give a character legendary resistance and an additional thing? Like, this feels huge. Huge, huge, huge. You just had a thought about weapon runes. Is it an intended effect that if you learn Deathic, Goblin, Infernal, and Supernal weapon runes, that you can give your whole party a +1 weapon? Yes. Yes, that is intentional. That's okay, because at that point, if you know a Deathic, Goblin, Infernal, and Supernal weapon rune, you aren't picking up, like, armor runes, you're not picking up magic runes, you're not picking up, whatever. So yeah, well, your party has +1 weapons, and that's pretty sweet. Your armor class isn't going to be as high as it could. Your, like, potential for spells is non-existent. If you don't diversify a little bit, then, like, you're going to be kind of missing out. But I want to open it up to where, like, if you wanted to play, higher utility Rune Keepers, you can totally do that. But yeah, I want to expand out the options. And thinking about, like, Legend. I think what you can do with this, I think it's completely possible to give a character legendary resistance once per day. Once per day. Just once per day. That's all I'm asking. Because they do that for the Dragonborn of Bahamut. Let me actually pull that back up. Okay, so the Dragonborn of Bahamut gets this once per day. And this would be available at 11th level. If I'm looking at this as like, this is a character sheet, right? It's not really, because there's no way that this could be a reasonable character for D&D because of this Radiant Breath thing. But, this is very cool. This is actually, I really dig this stat block quite a bit. I think Fizzbands actually did pretty well with the stat blocks that were put in that book. Radiant Breath on a recharge of 6, I think is kind of cool to include into the rune, right? They get a special action that they can do, and then they get legendary resistance. I actually think legendary resistance is really epic in feel, but overall for what the mechanic does, where it can just succeed on a saving throw instead, I think that that's only really scary good if you're allowed to do that 2 or 3 times per day. Like, you know, that's going to make your boss feel super epic. Now, throwing this on a player character option, I think that this is really reasonable that you can do this once per day at 11th level. That might be okay. I would actually prefer to see legendary resistance thrown around to more characters than magic resistance. You think it should cost a reaction? I don't know. Once they use this reaction, they can't do so. Like, it's just kind of cool to have that, where it doesn't take anything out of the action economy. Like, whenever they fail the saving throw, they can choose to succeed instead. There's other things that you can do, like, oh, you think for its capstone? I think with Glory Paladin, because I went through and did that one, did a review of that one. I think the fighter gets Indomitable at 9th, right? Yeah, 9th. Paladin with Glory, right? Getting that as part of their capstone. Yeah. Oh, wait. You can use your reaction to re-roll it? I thought they no, that was the UA. I forgot they nerfed that. Then, like... Ugh. I think this is actually really weak. Like, I honestly just don't think that that's that good. Like, sure, it's a thing that you can just do, but like... Man... I think that you could have opened this up, like, at 20th level, this being the big scary thing that you get to do is not that great. Advantage on all charisma checks. Okay, for Paladin, if you go into certain spell builds, that can be pretty good. You can cause the attack to hit instead. This is scary good. This is already, like, my favorite thing here. This is good, no lie, but I just feel like this could have been better. I feel like this could have been... You don't even need to use your reaction to re-roll it. It can't be for the full minute, right? Like, once during the minute, you can do this thing. And it wouldn't cost your reaction. I think that would be pretty okay. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's building off of the idea of what legendary resistance is in 5e. Like, I always think it feels really cool if you're able to, like, give players that measure. Yeah, it's legendary resistance light, and at 20th level, you don't want light beer. Like, you know, we want a shot of rye whiskey that burns going all the way down, right? Like, you want something heavy right here. How are we looking on snow? Yeah. It just got dark outside. I can't... Oh! Never mind. Hang on. Be right back. Like, 30 seconds. we've got a good like 2 inches of snow on the ground right now. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Guess who is not going to school tomorrow? Yeah, level 20 Paladin is the definition of a big boy. This should have been... What was the UA like? That was like 2 years ago now, right? Because I remember loving so much of what that Paladin wanted to be. It was heroism. Oh, it was just you can choose to succeed instead. But it was you have to use your reaction. Huh. Well... And they thought that was too good to even put at 20th level. Okay. Yeah, like... And this is only applying on once on each of your turns. And that's already, like, it has to be your turn. It might... Just to afford some buy-in. Until... Okay. That feels pretty nice. Like, it's not fun. Like, I miss out on... like being able to build a Dragonborn of Bahamut because like it doesn't have to use its reaction. Like choose to succeed instead feels like what? Oh, that is scary cool. It can use its reaction to succeed instead. You're right. Someone was talking about Indomitable earlier. What was... How good does Indomitable get? Because we can't make it better than Indomitable. You can reroll a saving throw that you failed to do so. You must use a new roll, and you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. And then you can do it 3 times. Oh wait, twice between rests. Oh, okay. 3 times at 17th. Okay. So... Oh, yeah, it doesn't require your action economy. It doesn't require a reaction. Ooh. Yeah, it probably should. Especially, it's weird that Indomitable doesn't come back, like, on a short rest on, like, the short rest class. Like, I know a lot of people say that, like, Warlock is a short rest refresh class, which, like, for spellcasting, sure. But, like, Fighter getting Action Surge and Second Wind back on a short rest... No, dude, you want to be napping. You want to be napping a whole lot as your fighter, you know. Hey, Biomancer, how's it going? Going pretty good. We're trying to figure something out about how strong it would be to give you legendary resistance as no action required. Because, like, it's only going to be this one creature. It's only going to be this one object... ever, right? So this is your party is going to possibly get this one thing once. And this is going to be the upper level of power for what it means to be a Rune Keeper. Is there a spell that just allows you to succeed? I sleep real shit. Okay. Because we want to scale down. Is 1 auto success better than 3 rerolls? Nah, I wouldn't say so. Ooh, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, no, Phil's right. The fact, okay, Silvery Barbs is in the game. That means we've got a lot of wiggle room because of that one spell to design around. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to comparatively balance the rest of this game around that spell existing as a first level spell, you can absolutely do this. And I don't think that it's busted. Everything here is programmed to make sense. Now, could it be cool for that to be the dragons thing? With Draconic, you can get a legend rune that is just legend, no other translation, and it's simply this effect right here. I think you can do that, and then later on pick up a different rune that also grants legend. Maybe. And since there's no action cost, could a fighter use all 3 for 1 effect if they wanted to? Yeah, they really needed to win that one. No, it says you must use the new roll. Silvery Barbs is a busted benchmark, though. It's like comparing 3rd level spells to Fireball. Well, I mean, right. But we can't get around the fact that that is in the game. There's only so much that, like, I can do to, like, propose this new class for the game. You know what I mean? Me saying that, like, I'm already kind of giving it, like, doing a big ask here, because what I'm saying in the Runekeeper is the system that they designed in Tasha's as a subclass is way too robust of a concept to get reduced down to that. I am expanding it out. This is like my master's thesis for, like, I guess you could say, like, 5e design. The Rune Knight that I'm proposing should be the thing that replaces the Rune Knight that appears in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Because this system is going to be way more reasonable compared to the Rune Knight that's in there. And it's going to allow for a lot more character expression. I think that this, like, Rune Knight that you can get right in here is going to be way more toned down. It's going to be a lot more clear and concise. And, like, I mean, like, I reduced down the overall runes that you can inscribe, but the runes are doing cooler stuff, I feel like. You know, there's only, like, what, 7 runes in there, and now I've got, like, damn near 80 in here. Like, the character expression that you can get out of this system is going to be a lot bigger, right? The runes known, this is also toned down, but it's kind of automatic for you. I made it to where, like, you're not supposed to be able to get, like, a runic lexicon with it. I need to make sure that that's all clear whenever I get more runes written down. But it's also to where, like, I can start cutting back on some of the other features and make this one a lot more clear and concise by just making it to where the runes can scale up with you, right? By 15th level, you can guarantee that you're going to get a +1 magic item. And that's cool that, like, you have that guarantee, but you can also shore up something else in here, right? Yeah, it could be a +1 magic item, but it's also going to build off of, I can get a +1 to my AC, I can guarantee a +1 to some certain saving throws, I can even get some spells if I want to get them. But they're all going to be way more toned down compared to what the Rune Knight just kind of gets to do multiple times for short rest. It's pretty nuts. No, and I'd agree with you. I do agree with you. Like, I do agree, and how do I put it? I do agree. It's not like I guess I'm not really seeing that as my benchmark. It's like, I can think though that like if something that I write for the game, I don't want to just write something and say this is okay because Silvery Barbs is in the game, because that's the wish fallacy, right? This is okay because this other really strong thing already exists. If I violated my own like fallacy I propose, that's gonna look, yeah, not super great. But I'm not designing things in here really ever thinking about Silvery Barbs. I guess you can say so far. I haven't put anything in. I haven't made it to where you can get Silvery Barbs in any way through the Rune Keeper. I honestly just keep forgetting that it's really a spell that's in the game. It doesn't feel like a 5th edition spell to me. I keep forgetting that it's in the game, but, you know, with an effect like Legendary Resistance, I think the mechanic itself existing with Silvery Barbs makes it to where it's not completely unreasonable for a character to potentially get the power of Legendary Resistance. And this is also just, like, just with looking at Indomitable and doing some comparison, you being able to auto-succeed once rather than reroll 3, I think that this is okay. However, what I will say is I would feel probably more comfortable if you couldn't get a Legend Rune any earlier than 13th level. Because at 9th level, if you're able to get it, it's just better than this. It's better. So, rather than this, let's scale it back. Let's see, what's the earliest level? That's 9th level there. Or how many runes would it have to be? Okay, so it's 9th level for them, so it would be 6. So let's say 13th. 8. So it would have to be, wow, 7 other... That was what I had originally designed it with. I started toning them down to 4 because I wanted you to be able to get it earlier. But I think 7 should be fine. Indomitable's known for being ineffective anyhow. I think that in a later fighter, like in a 5.5e or something, we'll probably see Indomitable get a rework. I don't know to what, but like, it would be kind of cool to see. Yeah, here you go. This is what I had originally... I think that... Yeah, I think that's what we'll go with. It'll just be once for long rest, you can auto-succeed, and I think that Legendary would be fine. Now, if it came with... if it came with its other kicker, it could be... It could be... It could be that we do just Legendary early and give it to you at 13th level. And then if you want to build onto that, you're going to have to wait until a later level to get some of the other ones. Or 9. Okay. So legend can just be... Is this the thing that, like... I almost want to just take this mechanic and, like, make it to where that's what legend is for Draconic, right? You won't be able to catch a stream tonight, but have fun. Hey, thanks for popping in, Plastic Fox. Yeah, you have a good night as well. Yeah, for sure. Check out the mod. We'll see you here in a little bit, Phil. Yeah, the dragon word for legend might be where we can just put the legend rune. That's Druidic. What is the dragon word for legend? Oh god. Let's see this. Oop, oop. Go. To the translator we go. Yes, there is a draconic fear rune. No, not transformation translator. Neat. There's no way it's just legend. I know that there's a... I feel like I found the word for what it was. Oh, wrong one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Rio's... Yeah, you being able to step in and get legend kind of earlier on Draconic rather than the other ones. Ooh, that's suddenly kind of spicy. Okay. So this needs to be 7 other inscribed Draconic runes. And then the other ones just need to get up to 9 because those are going to be like your 9th level spells. Item. I don't know, but it needs to require something that requires attunement. Okay. Boop. 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 Let's do that, and then... Would it be cool to make it to where... My streams are fun to play Isaac too. How about Homa? I've never heard of that one. I might check it out though. I do know though, if I get too close to Dragonlance lore, that is not covered by the it's not covered by the DM's Guild CCA. You invoke this as an action, and then ow, Homa. unless you, or I guess it needs to say. Homa is the name of a legendary hero in the Dragonlance setting. The Dragonlance was his. Oh, cool. Yeah, in that case, like, yeah, I don't know that I could do that because that's a specific character of the setting, and I would be violating. I'm working under a specific license on this thing, and I can use the Forgotten Realms and Everon stuff, but I can't really use Dragonlance. I'm getting the names from like different online translators. Some people have documented like the entire dictionary for some of the languages. This is, I guess this is a translator. It's just like called D&D 5e languages. And then this site includes a lot of the words that they've been able to find across some of the books that actually translate like from the language. So this has been kind of cool to use. But yeah, if like, is it super strict? Man, I mean, you know, WotC literally used German for like giant runes. Like they're like one-for-one translations. So like, I've been kind of, you know, using, I was using like Maori for like Aquan primordial runes. I'm using Gaelic for a lot of the Druid runes. You know, so I'm just kind of picking it up from wherever. Some of the like Thieves' Cant runes are just using slang. There were some that I picked up from like, I want to say, I don't remember if it was Scott Lynch or something. Oh yeah, Latin for Celestial. Yeah, I'm using Latin and it's like some capacity for Celestial. But yeah, there's enough like support for Draconic runes to where I've been able to mostly like just reference something from the Forgotten Realms for them. Okay, so that's very nice. Item. Any object but it would require attunement, and then you get the legendary resistance mechanic in here. This feels like real basic, bam, here at 13th level, I can go and grab this rune if I really want it, right? This is very nice. Should each of them just have a rune like this? Like, that would feel a little cheap. Maybe if... But it would always count as a dragon rune. And I'm not sure I like that. Well, I mean, it's cool if Dragonborn or like Draconic can just get into it a little bit earlier, because all the other ones are gonna have a measure of legendary resistance. It's just gonna be a few levels later. You think that there should be exclusive runes for each dialect? There are exclusive, like, translations. But yeah, there are exclusive runes. Like, Frar, okay? This is my version of what Breath Weapon I think should be for a player character. Where I don't think that any player is going to be, like, I think that the audience is mostly just going to be unhappy with Dragonborn's Breath Attack until it gets a recharge mechanic to where it feels like, okay, I feel a bit like a dragon, right? Like, I get the recharge to kind of play with in here. And I think that it's very possible to do it. You just need to have something in here, right? Where, like, you want to make sure it can't do this, like, per combat encounter. Just have it to where the attack is unavailable for 1 minute, so that way, like, after the combat encounter, boom, they get it back, right? I feel like that's pretty cool. But they can just do the roll the d6 at the start of each of their turns, and there's a chance that it comes back, right? Like, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. By that time, the combat encounter's already over. 4, 5, 6. Okay, there was a 6. I mean, it's like something like what? Like it's not 33. It's like 17 point something % chance. Of it like re-rolling and then coming back. So I think that's pretty okay. You being able to recharge it on a 5 to 6 is like a 33% chance. So like, if you have 5 Draconic runes inscribed, ooh. But I like the fact of the creature's breath attack recharges if you invoke the rune, right? Like, this feels so cool. And I think that if any other of the, this feels so signature that like, if any of the other Runic languages got something like this, it would feel like it's really stepping on Draconic's like territory. But we can look at some of the other Runic languages and see what we can do that's pretty unique for like that creature type. Oh, I didn't tell you guys actually. If you follow me over on Twitter, you might have seen this. But it's been like a stream favorite rune. Quaffix. I reworked this one because I want this to be the way that, like, I think people think necromancy really wants to work out, right? Oh, no, it's still a language that you can learn runes from. Yes, and I'll show you how I made it to where Rune Keepers can get that. Quaffix. This is a rune that, I think it was Spencer, actually. Spencer asked if I was going to allow you to do, like, necromancy in a rune. And the best support I could find for, like, I could figure out for who's going to get the I'm going to raise up undead was going to be whoever, you know, Orcus would have followed, right? If Orcus was a Runekeeper, what would he be? Obviously Abyssal Runes, right? So, Quaffix, this is an Abyssal Rune for life, which also counts as a Death and Profane rune. You'll probably see, like, this thematic happen quite a lot in the Abyssal language. So, like, if I know of another rune that counts as a, like, this rune gets stronger if you know death runes, right? Boom. If you know Quaffix, it's not just going to key off of life, it's going to key off of death and profane. So, what can you do with this thing? If the character that's holding it is holding the rune, they can use their action to cause any zombie controlled by them to explode. All creatures within 15 feet of the zombie when it explodes must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 acid damage. The additional acid damage dealt by the explosion increases by 1d6 for every 2 additional inscribed runes you have from its language or that share its translations. So, this is almost like kind of cantrip level power. It's just a special action that you can get to explode zombies that you have. So how are you going to get control of the zombies? By invoking the rune. You target the corpse of a medium or small humanoid and imbue it with a foul mimicry of life, raising it as a zombie under your control with a number of hit points equal to the number of runes you have inscribed, as per the Animate Dead spell. You must spend 1 runic charge at the end of a long rest to maintain control of a zombie raised with this rune. What can you do with this? You can raise up a bunch of zombies with this and send in a fleet to just go after something and then cause them all to explode. Now, how is this not absolutely insane, right? I can already hear. How is this not absolutely insane? They only have a max of 10 hit points ever. There's other ways that you might be able to like shore up their hit points or something, but like it only is ever raised with a number of this might need to say current and maximum hit points equal to the number of runes you have inscribed. Maybe I don't even think it's really all that insane just to say a number of hit points equal to the number of runes you have inscribed. But this is fodder. This is a thing that, like, if this gets hit, it's going down. It's gonna die. So this is a husk that you can send in there, right? So you have to invoke the rune, which means that you're only going to be able to do this once per long rest until about 5th level, and then you can invoke it a few different times, right? What this means is you can do this at 1st level. You can absolutely do this at 1st level, get a medium or small humanoid, corpse, whatever, and raise it up as a zombie, and then you have... There isn't any necessity. Is there not? I was wondering if there was. Let's get rid of that, and then I'll answer your question, Thaumaturge. I don't think it would be exploited or anything. I just wanted to make sure that, like, I wanted to make sure that it covered all my bases there. But you can absolutely try to use this thing to fight with. The scary thing, and the reason why I kind of restricted it to zombies, is if you remember, zombies are actually pretty hard to kill because they have a really cool feature. And if you're raising it up with 1 hit point, they have this undead fortitude feature that if damage reduces the zombie to 0 hit points, it can make a constitution saving throw, or unless it's from a radiant, you know, whatever, or a critical hit, or it drops to 1 hit point instead. So if you know that this thing is in trouble and it passes this, just blow it up. Like, just use your action on your next turn. Blow it. Like, this seems so cool. I love the interplay here. And it gets 1 hit point. And then what actually makes it a little bit tougher is the fact that it has undead fortitude. Because this thing's defensive CR, I think if you calculated it, would be like maybe a 0. Maybe. And they really don't do great damage. Like 1d6 plus 1 bludgeoning damage with a +3 to hit, really not all that great. But you getting this with 1 hit point, the real strength of a zombie is whenever you put them in a horde because they have 22 hit points. But yeah, this is like the real bread and butter from the synergy is going to come from the fact that they get undead fortitude. And like, oh god, I think that this is actually pretty sick. And I think that this does what a lot of people have been really wanting a necromancer to do, right? You can go and get this rune, and I think that the cool thing is that you can do this by 1st level. You go, grab, learn Abyssal, right? Grab this rune, Quaffix, and then, like, you can raise up a dead person as a zombie. Yeah, cool. What are you foregoing in order to do this? You're losing out on some of the weapon runes you could have gotten. You're missing out on some of the armor runes, maybe. But if you wanted to make a necromancer, I think this is very possible. Very possible. 7, wow. I was not aware. But Thaumaturge asked, how did the pronunciation video even happen? You haven't been catching up with the streams that much at all. What's it been having around things out? Yeah. So the reason I made that video was like, me and my buddies, whenever we got into D&D, we just called it genocide. We called the race genocide because, I don't know, we just did, and it stuck with me, and I haven't, like, I don't know. So I know that some people pronounce it Ganassi, or like, that's apparently the official pronunciation, right? Let's go check with Matt Mercer. If he did a... Genasi. Okay. So I've been saying genocide. And I swear to you, I've gotten, like, anytime I mention this race, I've gotten like 10 comments in the comment section that are like, excuse me, it's you sound like you're saying genocide. It's actually genasi. And I'm like, who? Okay. And then, like, there have been some comments that have been actually, like, kind of upset about it, and I'm just like, dude, you've got to figure out some better stuff to be upset about than, like, the way that I say this race is, like, yeah. So I just made that video as, like, a joke, and yeah. It sounds like people thought it was a great video. Anyways. But I just thought it was funny to, like, I thought it was funny to give a little jab at that, you know. People want to hear what they want to. Yeah, well, you know, people that look for problems. Yep. And they get real upset whenever like you do a thing differently than they do, and I'm like, guys, it's a fucking fantasy race. Laxative. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, you know, Amanda, you know what would be really funny? What if I did this for a video? And she was like, oh my god, yes, please do that. So, that was, ooh. If I take that out and then make it to where, maybe, hang on. If I make it to where this legend effect just duplicates, I don't have to really come up with a whole mess of new invoked effects, and it's already really good. But like, you know, looking at the one for Orcus. Wait. Maybe. I think Orcus should probably, because, I mean, no lie, whenever you're going to go with this Rune Keeper and you want to go a Necromancy build, you want to go Quaffix and you want to go with Orcus, right? Like, you want to go, you want to be able to build this, like, necromantic, creepy, demonic, I'm going to raise up people from the dead kind of a thing. Oh yeah, all the friend runes, that's also another scaffolding I'll talk about here in a second. Probably after, like, a quick break. But like, yeah, people on the internet are upset. Yeah, yeah, the famous look at and actually the vocal components of the, yeah, oh god, I just you know, I just decided to, like, I'm gonna make a joke out of it, and if people want to get upset about it, they can get upset, but I made it pretty aware that, like, I know I say it differently, honestly. Who cares? Like, really, just who cares? Oh, man. What? I can't believe someone like you would mispronounce a fictional. Yeah, exactly, right? There is a double legendary rune. There is. I was trying to find a way to do 9 legendary double runes. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what's real fun? You know what I get to do now that I have been wanting to do for a very long time? My favorite Demon Lord. My absolute favorite Demon Lord. How? What is going to do? What is going to do this justice? Oh, there's not a second eye. Okay. Dweeblex. I think I want to run a campaign completely centered around taking down this big bastard. I love. You guys know. If you've been with the channel for a while, yeah. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know I am a sucker for oozes. I think that they're such a cool creature to, like. Like, they feel like they start out the campaign like they already started the campaign, and it feels like, oh, okay, there's an odd sense of, like, if you want to inject some Eldritch Horror, but, like, don't really know what lower level kind of aberration to throw at your players, run over here and pick up some oozes, because, like, oozes already feel like you throw in, like, you've really built out like a sense of, like, sentient magic in your world. I love oozes. And Dweeblex is the demon lord of basically all things oozy. Yes, I love this guy. Since I have this, I now have an excuse to come up with something for him. Okay. Because I came up with, like, an oozing hunger warlock a while ago. Abyssal hunger. Oh yeah, oozes are great. Oozes are so much fun. Oh, and this might be a cool little segue here, but and I'll take a quick break after this because I want to come back and then figure this out because this just went. Yes, I'm super stoked to design this. Some people have been asking about what the expansions and stuff will be. I know that eventually people are going to be expecting an Elven subclass for it, a Primordial subclass for it. I had to cut those for the sake of time and getting this published. Also a Rogue, like Rune, I think the one that we'll go with is Cypher. People have been asking, like, you know, what the other expansions are going to be. The one I want to make real bad, real bad, is actually I want to make a monster rune one where, like, you know, I said that the Eokaric was supposed to be like, how can I make a Dragoon in, like, with this system, right? It was I have been trying to figure out how to make a Dragoon for D&D that felt like a lot like the video games did, and for whatever reason it just kind of clicked with the Eokaric Runekeeper that, like, oh, the magic of runes totally makes sense for how you would be able to do these things, right? Like, fight like a dragon in a way. So what I'm going to do is I want to make a monstrous Runekeeper whose whole shtick is I learn monster runes that allow me to blue mage like you can in Final Fantasy. And I think that would be so sick. So sick. I need to get there to that point, but, like, oh, this system is, like, it so supports that. I think it's very, very possible. I don't know what, I'll figure that out. But yeah, so anyways, that is, what's a blue mage? A blue mage in Final Fantasy's whole deal, like, so the color magic system in Final Fantasy is like, black magic is destruction, white magic is restoration, red magic, it has kind of, it has kind of changed over the years. Earlier on, it was like, if you're a red mage, you're a mix of, like, both white and black magic. It moved on in, like, Final Fantasy VII to be, like, summoning magic, and they haven't really touched on that again, I don't think, in a while. Eventually, summoning magic kind of got incorporated into white magic in a way. I think that was Final Fantasy either 9 or 10's doing there. A green mage is, if I remember right, like, kind of indirect damage, but the kind of like a buffer debuffer, right? But a blue mage is a mage that is able to emulate the attacks of enemies and monsters through their magic. Blue magic is like almost like adaptive. Yeah, it's a copycat, right? It's like a mimic, which is like, okay. I think once people hear that, like, what is the monstrous Runekeeper supposed to be? You mean I can just become a monster with this? Oh, like, I mean, if the magic system for this is, like, you are literally able to, like, bend the rules of reality, I think this altering your form to where you become a monstrosity and you can do things like a cockatrice's bite, which that's going to be a challenge. How do I make it to where you can bite things like a cockatrice, and that the fact of you getting petrification possibly that early? Ooh, I don't know. But I think that could be so sick. That is one of the ideas I've got down for a future expansion of, like, monster runes. I think that had I thought about that whenever I went into the design phase, that probably would have been one of the mainstays, because I think that would be a huge selling point to some people. You mean I can become, like, I can do all the monster stuff, but, like, I still kind of get my, like, character, like, oh, yeah. You get hit with a dragon breath attack and you cannot, well, so dragons aren't monstrosities, they're dragons. So it would be able to, like, you would be able to adapt, like, a bullet, right? They would have to be limited to monstrosities to make it so where the idea is, like, condensed enough, right? to limit the scope a little bit. The real challenge is doing it without cockatrice being giggled at. I mean, maybe cockatrice is like the starter one, and then like the cool thing with that is that the way that you get runes isn't necessarily from like you go and find them. I guess you could, but like the cool thing with that one is going to be that's going to be the monster hunter for this, right? You're going to be able to learn runes by witnessing how monstrosities use them in combat. And I think that is so cool. So cool. But I want to wait. What? Can breathe fire. Yeah, like in Final Fantasy, yeah, absolutely. But we have the separation of creature types that makes it to where like, oh man, I think that this can be so cool. So like in one of the expansions, once this one's out there in the wild, getting play and all that stuff, and I get feedback on it, then I'm going to take it and then adapt it out into monster runes. And that's going to be like, if people want to make a blue mage, I want that to be the system where I'm like, here you go, my children, take it, run, do all that. Anyways, so yeah, I've been streaming for 2 hours. Let me take a quick 5-10 minute break, go kind of look at the snow. I want to get some coffee. And then because it's snowing, I am going to assume that we probably aren't in school tomorrow. Let me double check. I think it'll be on Twitter or Facebook. I can never remember. We are like one of the only schools that did not get closed today. Oh. Hiccup. We sent a lot. We sent 3 of our students out to New York, and they're singing at Carnegie Hall right now, and they just posted pictures of them. Yeah, that made me happy. Okay, so I haven't seen if we're canceled or not, but I'm planning on streaming for a while because I want this damn thing done. I want this thing done before this weekend's over. I'm expecting to have a 4-day weekend, so I have plenty of time to get this done. I want to get this published and get this into you all's hands so you all can break it and then make fun of me later because I claim to be a pro design channel. And then you all find a million ways to break the thing that I wrote. So, love y'all. Anyways, okay. I'm going to go let the dogs out, check out the snow. I'll be right back. Give me about a 5 to 10 minute break, and I will see you all with a fresh pot of coffee. Get popcorn, get all that stuff, get cozy. We're going to be here a while. So, yeah, be right back. Yo, 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 yo. All right. Welcome back. So, digging the soundtrack through the Borderlands 3 soundtrack bumps. Like it. Oh, it's so good. The Tarochi, I haven't actually played it. I know I've heard a lot about it. You're asking about the one by Alex, right? Is it Alex Tanner? Yeah. Okay. I haven't actually played it yet. I know I've heard a lot about this one. I designed a similar system for my for the Gambler Merchant, but no, I haven't actually played this out or seen it or really like dived into it. But I know everyone keeps mentioning it whenever they're talking about like class designs over on the DMs Guild. But yeah, I need to check it out because I mean, I'm cool with the flavor, right? Like, I would love at some point. I mean, I'd love to write a campaign setting that feels like it leans really hard into some Wild West stuff, and like the Tarochi feels like, ooh, that feels like that could paint a really cool picture for what like spell casting is in those worlds, right? Like, oh, that could be kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I'd love to do something like that and involve like a Tarochi or like similar kind of a class to add to it, you know. Ooh, poison until the creature's name. Is that good enough to? Ooh. Okay, what's the cool thing to take out from Dweeblex? Is it this? Because, like, I'm kind of already doing that with another rune. Is it regeneration? Because I think regeneration is going to be too good. And the target is slimed. Is poisoned while within 10 feet of it. Ooh. Ooh. Hey, Draconic Wolf, what's up? Yeah, I love the idea of what that could be. I think that I've been sold on the idea of like card casting as its own magic system, but I haven't really had the time to like look into that one. It's one of those ones though, right? Where like I think Ted said that it was his favorite homebrew class. I do want to look at it though, because Alex also made the Lacer, right? Incarnate Last of the Lacers. Yeah, okay. So I know Ross has even praised this one. And I think Ross did... Oh, that's the preview of the... Why is it just the... Okay, no, I've got it. But yeah, I should take a look at this one as well. If you wanted to play Avatar, it's like, yeah, already here. Let's see, let me get that up. But yeah, I've heard a lot of great stuff about Alex's work. I just haven't really delved into it quite yet. But from what I've heard from other designers, I would expect it to be good for play. Ross even says that he allows... I think Ross allows the Lacer at his tables. I don't know about the Tarochi. That one hit... allowed them to attack as if they were in the creature's space. Fire a blob. Oh, okay, so they can like extend. I think Ross did that. Ross did like a Oblex spawn sorcerer that's going to be in UAH that allows you to do that. Like you have a conduit that allows you to like cast spells from its area and all that stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. This is nasty right here. But like, oh, maybe if that's the theme, right? We pull a legendary action away from it. We give you the legendary resistance, and then, boom. Like, ooh. Have I seen the Bible 5e put out a little teaser? No, I haven't. Oh. No, I haven't. Oh man. Hey, you know what? They're doing what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing. You know. Oh, as low as $1. Wow. No, I haven't really looked at it anymore. I just saw that and I was like, I thought it was good for, you know, it was good for a laugh. Yeah. I do feel like some of the comments I got in that were like looking at it as if I was, what was it? Like I was picking on it. I thought some of it was a little bit like hokey, but I'm okay. Like I'm okay with it existing. I wasn't like saying that, oh, look at this, what is this horse shit? Like, I was more so like, okay, this is a thing. I wonder what the reception to this is gonna be like. Oh man. Yeah, this is Juweeblex. This is a Demon Lord, which I'm kind of thinking about ripping something like this off of. You can use a special action, which like, I think yeah, I'm not getting sidetracked by it again. Whenever, should it grant you I think it getting you a pseudopod attack is a little too weak. This feels like something that we can give you for like an ooze-based rune, you know. Yeah, more like a mofos. Yeah, no, exactly, right? I was like, it's like, it's almost like I was expecting a train wreck, you know? Like I was like, ooh, I don't know. A ranged spell attack. It says melee weapon attack here, which like I guess if your form is oozing, you know, then it makes more sense that it's like poison damage. Oh, what creature type Jesus was? Was it a celestial? Oh, Kegbear, hey, thank you so much. You found my channel a few days ago, and my videos have been constantly in the background ever since. Hey, thank you, thank you. I hope that it's been entertaining at least. I really hope that people are getting, you know, something out of these live streams. But glad to hear it. Thanks so much. Let's see here. Can we... What's the cool thing? What's the cool thing here? Poison damage, and the target is slimed. Okay. When the attuned creature hits another creature with a weapon attack, the target takes an additional, yeah. Target with a weapon attack. The target takes an additional 2d6 poison damage, and the target is slimed. Until the slime is scraped off with an action, the target is poisoned, and any creature other than an ooze is poisoned while within 10 feet of the target. That's very good. The poison damage doesn't really mean much. This could be like, I mean, I'm being a little facetious here because like it doing additional damage anyways is something to consider. But like honestly, this could be like boom right up here, and I would be like, God, that's just so nothing. It's the kicker that makes this really good. And the target is poisoned, and any creature other than an ooze is poisoned while within 10 feet of the target. So it slimes you. If it slimes you, it doesn't really matter whether or not that thing is susceptible to poison damage. It has this slime on it. So that thing doesn't have to really be able to be poisoned for this effect to really kick in. Because any creature other than an ooze is poisoned while within 10 feet of the target. Now, the not fun thing is that this would affect your allies. Now it doesn't affect your allies. But like... I don't know. This might be okay. I think this is okay. 9 other inscribed runes. Like, if you want this thing, it slimes it, cool, and then, like, you have this other effect. It's just, the fact that it is poisoned, there's no save, you hit it, that's really nice. I'm going to leave this as this. If it's not all that great, that's fine. It doesn't really have to be all that great. How bad would it be neutered by it? I mean, if you hit the thing with poison damage and it's just immune to the poison damage, that's not all that great. But, like, it does carry with it a kicker that, like, it doesn't care if you're poisoned or not. It's the slime. And then it carries around this, like, debuff effect. Which, like... if you're fighting a bunch of fiends, and you go with this, and then you're like, wow, the poison damage didn't do anything, and then the other creatures are immune to the poison damage, it's like, you should probably invest in another rune, you know. But I like that this exists, if for nothing else than the thematic of it being, here, this is here for Dweeblex. It would be cool. What's more fun? This effect right here, coming from a legendary action. Or... see, Dweeblex doesn't even have the formless, like, I can squeeze into a thing. Foul is kind of fun. Like, that aura is nasty. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? I have been scratching my head on what the Fiendish Rune stance was going to be. Like, what all to add into here. Of your stance. Next turn. That's very minor. That's actually pretty small, but that speaks a lot to the identity of what like this could be. If you want to build like a Dweeblex themed like Runekeeper, you can do this with Foul. That's kind of cool. Doom is very good, but it's situational. Betrayal is okay. Pain is scary good. You want to put the Runekeeper in your next campaign? Hopefully this thing is done by this weekend. Hopefully. But I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear a lot of people have like really latched onto the concept. And you can use fire to blow them up. Okay. Question for the Runekeeper. How does the Runekeeper relate to other classes? Like, does it, in a lore sense, have more in common with clerics than wizards? Or is it just very isolated? It feels like it exists somewhere in between, like, maybe, like, Intelligence Paladin, in a way. Like, without the D10 hit die. Because, like, in lore, these are, like, You are studying runes to enhance weapons. You are studying runes to like learn about the universe. Runes are like laws of physics that you learn and can like bend to your will. So you don't have to go like Rune Keeper and just inscribe them into weapons. You can go Rune Keeper and go into magic and be like a rune caster in a way. You can go into Rune Keeper and play like more utility based if you want to go with like a rune scribe or a rune sage kind of a feel. Or if you want to go Gish, this 100% allows for that. If you want, I made the rune stances to where this is going to enhance any play style. Anything you want to go with. If you are up in a thing's face, absolutely. Or if you want to stay in the back line, go protection stance and hang around with your blasters and just make sure that they're okay, you know. But either way, I think that any of this is going to be pretty nice for wherever you want to be on the battlefield. Thematically, you can think of them more as like philosophers, which like I like the idea of where that came from, where like if you contemplate runes, you are a philosopher. But like going philosopher and then like it kind of feels like you're gonna run into Gish territory. It's like, wait, so I'm like a philosophy warrior? You know, like I tried to, I'm trying to justify now in the lore why a Rune Keeper would be like, why is it that I roll up this philosopher and suddenly I'm hitting things harder with a hammer, you know? Like, yeah. You would like to bring up the idea of a Golem Runekeeper subclass? Guess what you can do? You can go Deathic and totally do that. If you go Deathic, you can enhance weapons and armor, and the core, big boy, really, I think, big showpiece of what it means to be a Dwarvish or Deathic Runekeeper is the Arusamon. Arusamon allows you to make a runic construct, if you so choose. I went totally anime with this. Like, if you want to be the Gundam mech fighter for D&D, here you go. You go down Deathic, pick up Arusamon, and you're now able to pilot a rune mech and hop into it if you so choose. This thing is going to get a pretty nice pool of hit points. Its armor class is going to be pretty nice. Everything's going to scale off of like all of your runes that you have inscribed. Whenever you invoke a rune, it's going to regain 1d8 hit points. This is like, if you, I tried to make it to where this is going to be an option that you can take. And I almost feel like this one's so good that it has to be a legendary rune, but I'm kind of cool with that. Friend Master, like, maybe legend. But I love this. I love the idea of Arusamon is like, in Dwarvish, this means like great friend. This means like you're my best buddy, right? So like, you're able to go into here, grab this, and then pilot your mech, right? You kind of want to play a kobold that pilots a dragon construct. I wouldn't have any problem if someone just went like, you know what? I will allow you to pick this up as like, you want to go with this as a draconic rune? Okay. So we'll just call it a draconic rune. And then it's going to scale off of your dragon draconic runes rather than your dwarvish ones. I am totally fine with people doing that. If they want to just take a Sharpie, mark this out, make it draconic, 100%, you can absolutely do that. The legendary Deathic rune being called Moradin, yeah, it would be epic. As soon as I can settle on the identity of what legend runes are going to be, I think that's totally possible. And I think that, honestly, once I get a legend rune into all of them, and like maybe, I don't know, maybe like 4 like pure utility runes that you can pick up, I think this thing might be ready to go. A clay buddy that you can inscribe runes into. Yes, you can do that with this rune, with Arusamon. It doesn't matter if it, and I wrote it really intentionally like this. You see how it says a construct of medium or larger size? You see here where it says a suit of splint or plate armor, a statue, or construct of medium or larger size requires attunement. If your DM allows you to, like, I'm gonna carve this into a clay statue, go for it. Go for it. Boom. And is it a suit that you have to get into? No. This is a thing that you can conjure, and it's a buddy that fights alongside you. It has its own separate pool of hit points and all that stuff. Now, this is one that I'm gonna need to... I will need to figure out the comparison for it. You can only ever get this, like, once per long rest, really reasonably. Once this thing gets reduced to 0 hit points, you can't just re-invoke this and it comes back to you, right? This thing has been reduced to 0 hit points. If you try to invoke it again, it teleports to you as a dead construct, and you're gonna have to, like, rebuild it, you know? So, this can't be invoked, like, multiple times to get you a bunch of this dude. It's gonna have to be, you inscribe it in the thing, and then it can, you know, come to your aid. I think this might need to say a willing construct. And that's fine. Does it need to say corpse of a construct? That sounds weird. Maybe just willing construct is fine. But yeah, this is, I wanted to open it up to where you can just, if you want to, if your DM is like, I want you to be able to get into a, hell, I've even got like a mini over here, right? If you're like, ooh, I see this guy, and I want to make that my new mech buddy, right? He's got runes on him. I want you to be able to get this thing and fight with it. Yes. Now, at what level is that probably too good to get? Pretty early on? Ugh. The scaling might allow for it where, like, can you do this? Possibly at first level. Is there a way to reduce it down to where destroyed construct? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I'm curious if there's a way to be able to do this at first level. Probably not. I think maybe you could reduce it down to like 3. So 3 and this one would mean 4. But it can't key off a legend. We're just not going to do legend there. Boom. 3 inscribed Dwarvish runes and no other Arasamon rune inscribed. Boom. Easy peasy. Got it. So you can only ever have one of these things. And that's fine. How does it compare to a Steel Defender? It's very... okay, so the Steel Defender, as far as I can remember, it can't teleport to you. This one can, because I wanted it to be all anime. Yeah. So the Steel Defender, if we're comparing this, number one, the fact that you can get into the like construct, I think is a big like, oh, okay. I was using Mighty Servant of Luco for all the mechanics, but I was trying to reduce down the scaling to where like you could get it earlier, right? Because like that's an artifact level item, and I wanted it to be like, okay, we want to give you all of the mechanics that this allows you to do, but reduce it down to where this is reasonable for a player character to just reliably get, right? It has all these increases to it, but that's all because it's part of a class. Can't be surprised. Okay. Shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. I think that that's all kind of handled within the mechanics of what I wrote. Because it's like, controlling the construct. You can pop inside of it and then do all this stuff. This is all literally just Mighty Servant of Luco right here. You can get into it, bam, all that. This should all cover how it gets to you, all that good business. If you need to cause it to regenerate hit points, here you go. You invoke runes. The multi-attack. Once you get to 6th level, you can make it attack twice with the weapon stance, which is fine because you can already do that. You can put that rune on a Steel Defender. You could. I guess it's not destroyed, but if your DM was cool with that, I don't see any reason why not. Let me show you. The Runic Construct is doing 2d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage, whereas it's bludgeoning damage for 1, so it's not as good as the force damage in the Steel Defender. Which I never thought made a whole lot of sense. I guess it shoots a beam out of its eyes or something. Force Empowered Rend, and it does force damage, so it's always reliable. That always felt kind of odd to me. But 3 times a day it can use its action to just restore 2d8 plus 6 hit points to itself or one construct or object within 5 feet of it. Okay. The deflect attack reaction is pretty nice. But the only thing that I gave this to you is an ejection, to where, like, if it's reduced to 0 hit points, it just it uses this reaction to immediately just eject people out of it, right? So I think that this is going to be mostly like, how strong are your runes? I wanted to give you a husk to control, a mech to control, and then, like, not make it its own character, but make it its own just piece of equipment for you, you know? You think I missed your suggestion about the animated castle? That you can animate a castle, or scrolling up? Oh, you animated an entire building? Yes. And there's already a rune that does that in D&D lore that I'm fine with, potentially, because it is pretty much just world building as a rune. Oop, hang on, sorry. Come back. There we go. It is in Storm King's Thunder. Is it? Yeah, Storm King's Thunder. It's the castle. And I own this book. I swear I own this book. Alright, hang on one sec. How are you all doing? I'm gonna buy this while it's on sale. Hey, Spencer! How's it going? We are still working on the Runekeeper. I'm just I'm getting to the point with it where we're seeing the finish line. We're seeing the finish line. It's gonna be a final layout pass after that. I want to make sure that each of the runes has, or each of the languages has, at least like 20-ish runes in it, and then I think it's gonna be good to go. I swear I bought this book. Which, by the way, buying another book. So, hey, if you like the stream and you want to support me, all that good stuff, why not subscribe if you aren't already? Like the video. You know, if you learned something, hey, you could also throw me a tip over in Super Chat. Now, one of the things I figured out that's pretty cool is if you want 100% of the money to go to me, rather than YouTube taking a cut, there's a Streamlabs link that I posted over on my Twitter. So go follow me over there, and then if you want to donate, go donate there, because it goes directly to my PayPal account, rather than me having to wait an entire month to get that stuff from YouTube. So, yeah, thank you. Anyways, How do I feel about designing balance by giving strong feats with big drawbacks? You almost feel like a lot of the 5E classes just goes for pretty good, but not exceptional in any way. I'm not opposed to the idea, as long as... Whoa! Whoop. There was nothing on there, right? Okay. Woo! I almost thought for a second my PayPal information came up. Okay, one sec. We're good. We're good. Woo! Okay. There's a rune in this castle that keeps it afloat. Navigation orb. Right? Yes. Okay. So, this rune, or sorry, this magic item has a large sky cloud rune embossed on its outer surface. So, the cloud rune has changed quite a bit. It means one thing to Storm King's Thunder. It means another thing to, like, the Rune Knight. And, like, I think there's even a different version of it that allows it to, like, impart other stuff. Anyways, so, the version of it I had, I just reduced down the, where was it? There we go. Or wait, Cloud... No, I want Rune Knight. Almost leaked, yeah. Well, yeah, while wearing this rune, you have advantage on sleight of hand and deception checks. That's so good. These are two really common checks. And then in addition, you can invoke this thing, whatever. So I adapted that for this system, right? Oh god. Yeah, first bot of the stream. The storm rune on a conch allows you to teleport, which, like, that feels so, like, I like the idea, but that feels so legendary. It feels so, like, yeah, those should be the legendary runes, right? So I think what we could say is, like, maybe the cool thing for Giant is, like, part of their runes grow in power, right? Like, there's a rune that, like, amplifies their effects, maybe, or, like, with the additional runes, they do get better, like, in that sense of power. So, like, the Cloud Giant runes, once you know, like, 4 or once you know 5, they untap another echelon of power, right? That can be, like, a cool thematic for them. Cloud Rune, I nerfed it down a little bit. Part of it was, like... Oh, wait, that's Ferd. Part of this was, I love the funny, like, you inscribe it on a bag of beans, and then the creature wearing or carrying the beans has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on smell. Fee fi fo fum, right? Cloud Giant seems pretty fun. Now, this is a utility one right here, except for the invoked effect, which is the same as what it is over in the Rune Knight. But we can allow this one to potentially get the power of some of the big magic items. Wait. Yes. Okay. You could say her. What is the power of that? Navigation orb. Very rare. So that's what, 13th level? Is that what we said? Rune of Giant Strength. Maybe? Maybe? Maybe. Here we go. At least 6 other inscribed runes. Okay. Oh, yeah. And here's another little tip. Like, if you are... and this is something that Ross was doing, and I think Heavy did in his Gunslinger, and I really appreciate it, and I think that other people do as well. If you show your work at the end of it, like, you give your thesis for, like, why the system churns the way it does. So I include, like, hey, if you want to create runes, here's what I was doing to make the runes in here. If you like the runes that are in here, and you want to make some of comparable power, here's, like, what you can go off of. So if we're going to make it a very rare kind of an effect, then and you want to get your moving castle, all that fun stuff. Yeah, Ross did it with his shaman, and that's, yeah. Heavy's Gunslinger includes a pretty extensive appendix on, like, his thought process behind everything. Every 3 giant runes, your strength score increases by 1. That could be... Desma? That... Ooh. Ooh. Huh. Ooh. Okay, what would break that? You wouldn't be having to invest in the strength a whole lot. Like, sure, you'd have to invest a lot into giant runes specifically, but like, if you're gonna be the Dethic, or you're gonna be the Jotun Runekeeper, that might be a better effect for their 10th. That is, yeah, that is very giant. Ooh. I mean, oh. What can it be? What doesn't feel good about this is if you go into a high strength build and then you get to 10th level because you're like, yeah, of course I should be at that point. Like, that doesn't need to be earlier. You gain a bonus to your strength score. Hang on. Hang on. I know that this is... Hang on. Okay. Ooh, this is scary. This is really playing with fire here. Bonus to your strength score equal to the number of giant runes you have inscribed. Now, I mean, you could make it to where it can't exceed 19. The bonus after applying, or if your strength score is, and this would make this subclass look terrifying. But what it means is I could get rid of Jotun Resilience. And actually, hang on. Oh, ooh, could that be a rune? Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing to go with, right, is like, you're gonna multi-class this in the Barbarian. Like, what, does this break rage? No. God damn, is it good, though. Okay. Belt of Giant Strength. This may be the thing that just distinguished this. Okay, who was that? Desma, are you in the Discord? Because you need to be. Belt of Giant Strength of the class. Okay, so it thinks that 23 or 21. Jesus. Oh. Oh. Yeah, join up. Join up. While wearing this belt, your strength score changes to that of the one granted by the belt. It has no special effect. Is equal to or greater than the belt's score. Okay. Hold up. It sets the strength score. So, Jesus. Okay, you go into this, you're going to have to basically build your character around the idea that this is going to be the thing you ultimately want to hit. Is 29 strength. Man, okay. Like, yeah, the threshold can scale. The threshold can scale. But, like, I'm gonna assume this. This, okay. What does, like, is this just like, okay, it does require attunement. That cuts back on some of the, okay. But, like, this is literally, you're gonna have to build your entire character around the concept of, like, boom. Yeah, this is, oh, man. I can set the threshold and have it scale. It doesn't have to be this. The real flashy thing... Here's the real flashy thing that this could be. Like, sure, this is cool. If you can get this early on, awesome. But that does incentivize multi-classing. Here's what I want to see. Can I make this Belt of Giant Strength the class? Like, that is the iconic giant themed item. And you want to be able to snag this. You want to be able to get a measure of this. Like, if you were to list me, like, what are the different, I'm going to take my overcoat off because it is pretty hot in here now. If you were to take all the magic items in D&D and you were like, what is the most giant thing? You're probably going to take Belt of Giant Strength. And, like, for this being the class that allows you to customize magic items, I want you to be able to get this. How? Can you say... Oh, man. Like, this might have to be the legendary thing for them, right? This might have to be the thing where we're like... How do we do this? I know it. Okay, hang on. This gives me another rune to build off of. dark. Craft, Kraft. It's called the power, the strength, the vigor, the might. Okay. I don't even think we have to do it for 1 minute. I think we can just make a rune that lets you set it. But it has to be this has to be the giant legend rune. And what better rune to be the giant legend rune? Like, Anam is definitely going to get one. Anam, Allfather, yeah, absolutely getting one. But, like, if any word was going to get a legendary tag in giant, it has to be strength. Oh. So, we can make this to where it's one rune that you can make that a creature has to attune to, and just basically rip a lot of the Belt of Giant strength kind of wholesale. Okay. So, I'm trying to make sure I don't talk over my thought process here, because I'm having a Jimmy Neutron style brain blast right now. Okay, I'm just gonna take you, and this is not the text that's actually here, is it? Sometimes Adobe products, I swear. Okay. Craft is cool. What's another? Is there a giant 5e dictionary? Nope. Effort. Is there might? Nope. Power? Nope. Okay. So we're gonna go with German because that's what WotC did. Okay. Let's copy this. This has to be inscribed on a belt. And I'll zoom in so you guys can see. All right. Oh man, it increases the creatures. If we're gonna go with a legend tag, Sturka, it looks cool. There's already a lot of S's, a lot of S runes. I don't think there's a lot of yeah. I like this. This feels, ooh, I don't know. Okay. Equal to your number. Ooh, this amount can exceed 20. Yeah, I've been pulling from the dictionary where I can, but it's really not super concise. It does have a lot in there. Vonin we can save for something else. I like the idea. But this one feels like this needs to be strength, because it also says Belt of Giant Strength, Belt of Hill Giant Strength, Belt of Fire Giant Strength. So I think I'm just keying off of strength is like kind of the way to go, and then we can include a Titan one later, you know. Craft makes you think of American cheese. Well, that can't be a thing. How did I forget about that? Mocked? Wait, mocked is canon. There's a mocked mocked might. Yeah, it works. I've heard mocked used. Okay, and then I need to pull that legendary stuff. Hiccup. This needs to say 7. No wait, yeah, 7. Hog. Oh, I need to... Wait, are you doing the thing again? Makes you think of death. What? Whoa, what? I'm just pulling from like a German translator. But I think that is canon. Like, I want to say I've seen this before. Why am I equal? Okay, so this is gonna... This will level up with you. It's gonna scale with you. Because it is more might than strength. MAAT, I haven't used it yet, I don't think. Is it? Let me look. M. Mott is basically good, holy, or honorable. Like, that needs to be like the sacred, right? No, wait. They already have a sacred rune. It's like Helig or something, right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I'll keep one as a placeholder for right now. I like the fact that like might, it kind of works in that. Maybe that is like, maybe rather than strength, we'll say might as... That'll be what they can translate to. Also the native Egyptian... I mean, we're going to run into a lot of that kind of stuff where, you know, these words are going to mean one thing to one language and another to another. You just got to make sure that, like, it's not, you know, offensive. The attuned strength scores increase by an amount equal to your number of inscribed giant runes. This is very good. This doesn't break anything. Everything so far has been like how this locks it out of early level grabs. So like the item has no effect on you if your strength score without the belt will be greater than the belt score. So this can exceed... How about if we write this? Like that. Mocked. Crafter? Maybe. What's the wording I need to grab from this? This is the one thing that you pick, that you take, and you have to level up into, and you have to invest all of your character into that. So, Primal Champion. Primal Champion increases strength and constitution. We can probably do this. Okay, let me just copy this real quick.
Oh, are you still streaming?
Huh? Yeah, what's up?
I just was gonna tell you, I started like maybe 15 minutes into Fantastic Fungi on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Overflowing. I have not